Who are the top 10 most important players in the Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Eagles? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the conversation we'll be having today. The backdrop, Rich Eisen, the Rich Eisen Show, live from Radio Row in New Orleans. All right, so interesting question. The way I look at this question is, who do the Chiefs need to exist to win this game? Who do the Eagles need to exist to win this game? Top of my head, most obvious, Patrick Mahomes, top 10, most important player. Saquon Barkley, probably the most important player for the Eagles, and for what they want to do. But the Chiefs and Eagles are both interesting because their defensive lines are so important. Chris Jones and Jalen Carter absolutely are top 10. Absolutely. Then you have the tight ends. Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelce, absolutely should be involved. Both teams need them to exist equally. All right, so let's get into this. We'll react along the way.
4 active players on Sunday for Super Bowl 59. As we all know, this big game is filled with big-time players. But I had to come up with 10. And I'm putting a rookie here. And there's some very talented
Xavier
rookies.
Worthy or Cooper
Quinyon
DeJean.
Mitchell. Cooper DeJean.
Indeed.
Okay.
Will Cooper DeJean have anything to do with maybe keeping Travis Kelce out of the end zone?
He's going to try.
Will he have anything to do with keeping Travis Kelce from getting open in between the numbers?
He's going to try.
I don't have him on my list.
Oh, really?
Xavier
I
Worthy.
have Xavier Worthy on my list.
Oh.
Xavier Worthy is absolutely important for a team that is not a big play team, and he is their big play threat. They need him to exist to at least be a risk, at least be something the defense has to pay attention to when it comes to pushing the ball down the field. If Xavier Worthy does not exist, that's not good for the Chiefs, and it means that they're going to be a dink and dunk methodical offense, which they can be, which they've been successful doing. He's also important with the, I don't want to call it gadget plays, but the jet sweeps and things like that. So he is a threat. The Chiefs need Xavier Worthy to be in Vic Fangio's mind, whether it's through the sweeps, the jet sweeps, the runs, going deep, whatever. So yeah, I mean, for what the Chiefs do, like if Xavier Worthy has 0 catches, the Chiefs can still win the game. But if he has a average game and that 5 catches, or not even 3-4 catch, 50 yards. If he's in that world with a run for 12 yards, if you told me that, I would say, okay, then the Chiefs had no trouble moving the ball.
Wow.
I'm going with the offensive rookie.
Okay.
I'm going with Xavier Worthy having an opportunity to be as impactful as anybody else. And that's what part of these power rankings are. You don't have to just be good and talented. You got to be impactful. And Xavier Worthy can impact this game. Yep. And
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's like, okay, whose contributions can truly impact the game?
He does. In the same way a certain team from, let's put it this way, New Jersey will be particularly upset if one player is as impactful as I think he will be in this game. Western New Yorkers might be a little upset if Xavier Worthy impacts this game because let's not forget who.
Yeah, he was the trade. The Bills basically gave Kansas City Xavier Worthy.
The Chiefs traded up with as trade partners to select Xavier Worthy, 28th overall. He scored a couple of touchdowns in the first game of the season for the Chiefs. Will he get in the end zone for his final game as a rookie Kansas City Chief? He's 10 on my list. And number 9 on my list is a guy who had 3 sacks in the divisional playoff win over the Houston Texans. If the Chiefs win this game, I think George Karlaftis is going to have an impactful night, and he's number 9 on my power rankings.
Good one.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you consider what Spags is going to want to do defensively. We know the Chiefs are going to bring pressure. We know that they're going to disguise blitzes. We know they're going to be in cover 1. We know they're going to rely on man on the outside. We know all that stuff's going to happen. So Karlaftis is a direct result of that. Is like, can they get to Jalen Hurts? Can they pressure Jalen Hurts? If they keep Jalen Hurts uncomfortable, good. Now, Jalen Hurts, surprisingly, is good against what they're going to throw at him. So, now, it's the Chiefs. It's a couple weeks to prepare. It's the Super Bowl. It's a different story. But Jalen Hurts has been successful in these situations, facing this kind of pressure, facing these kind of looks. So, Karlaftis having a big game would correlate to Jalen Hurts not being comfortable. So, yeah, they need him to get home. They need him, especially with Jalen Hurts' knee. Jalen Hurts has a knee issue. How bad it is, we really don't know. But if it's bad enough to where he's not as mobile as he'd like to be, and if Karlaftis can keep that clock in his head rolling and create the pressure, get some easy sacks, push him back, get him behind the sticks, yeah, that is imperative for the Chiefs.
He is in his third year with the Kansas City Chiefs, and guess what? They are in their third straight Super Bowl, and one of the reasons why is because this kid has been really terrific off the edge for the Chiefs on a defensive line with Chris Jones all over it ever since he came off the campus at Purdue. George Karlaftis has been impactful. He's number 9 on my power rankings of the top 10 players in this big game. Number 8. We get to.
All right, let me think here. Let me think. Like, you know, you can always have some fringe players, so it absolutely has to be on this list. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Chris Jones, Jalen Carter, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. I mean, I would say like Devontae Smith, but maybe not. Maybe that's too many Eagles. Travis Kelce, is he on the list? That last this one right here is the one that is fringe. So eight could be fringe. The rest I don't think are debatable.
To some Philadelphia Eagles now.
Oh, finally. I mean, come on.
Let's go.
They're in the game too.
Fair and balanced.
Excuse me, that just means the Eagles will have a certain number in the top 8 of my power rankings.
It's good.
All right.
I see what you're doing.
I'm just trying to spin here to say that there is a defensive player of the year candidate in this game. And his name is Zack Baun.
Yeah.
And this guy.
I wouldn't have had Baun in there, but I mean, okay, you know, he's an all-pro, sure. I think like he's hard because it's hard to correlate impact. It's hard to correlate like how good of a game will Zack Baun have to correlate to an Eagles win? Like, what will he actually have to do? If he just plays well, the Eagles can win. So should he be on the list? I also don't know if that's even the qualifier for the list. It might just be the top 10 best players. If that's the case, he absolutely should be on there because he is an all-pro.
Has been as impactful as any Philadelphia Eagle has been for this team all year long. He was the one on opening Friday night. Waved to everybody and said, hello, everyone in New Orleans. You might recognize me as a Saint who is playing a cup of coffees on defense, but mostly on special teams, and I am now a special defensive player of the year for the Eagles. He had a great opening night in Brazil against the Packers. He has been nothing but stupendous since, and if he can patrol the middle of this field and he can put pressure up the middle potentially on Mahomes, he can be particularly impactful. He's number 8. Number 7, I've done my reading on this guy. Can you see where I'm going?
You think he brings
Done his reading. Oh, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown.
it to the game? Has to.
How
right?
does A.J. Brown not bring the author of Inner Excellence to New Orleans? How is he not going to be like an honorary captain?
That guy should.
Yeah, I think A.J. Brown could sneaky be the path for the Eagles to win this game. I think Saquon will be relatively corralled. I think the Chiefs do a really good job defensively against running backs anyways. I think especially in this situation, they're going to say, listen, we are not losing this game to Saquon Barkley having 140 yards. We are not doing that. They are not going to be able to run the ball 30 times with Saquon Barkley. Not happening. So because of that, if the Eagles want a chance, they're going to have to take a shot at what the Chiefs don't do well. What the Chiefs don't do well is pass defense. We just talked about what they're going to try and do. If Jalen Hurts can comfortably exist in the pocket, distribute the ball, the best receiver on the field is A.J. Brown against a relatively weak Chiefs secondary. So I think A.J. will have a huge game. I am putting my money where my mouth is with that. He also, I think, it could be in conversation for the MVP of this game. So A.J., I'm putting a lot of faith in you, my guy.
Should be doing tours down maybe a row.
That guy can fly himself down.
By the way,
the amount of books he sold.
Maybe he will be. If I'm his publisher, I'm sending my author to talk about how impactful he's been to A.J. Brown, who impacted the Super Bowl LVII Eagles loss in the first half with a tremendous adjusting to the ball in the air touchdown catch against the Chiefs the last time they faced. Can A.J. Brown be impactful? He's number 7 on my list. Number 6, Rounding out the, if you will, bottom 5 of my power rankings is one of the greatest playoff players ever.
Travis Kelce.
And it's Travis Kelce. I'm putting him 6 here.
Really?
I'm putting
Kelce's a good example of a guy who you just got to throw out the regular season. Just throw it out. Same with like Gronk. When Gronk was hurt all the time, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs, he was just an absolute animal. That's Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, has he had a down year? Has he had an off year? Yeah. But it's the playoffs. It's the Super Bowl. And that's when he rises to the occasion, especially with some extra time off. He's an older player now. Some extra time off, does the body well. So the movable force and whatever is that the Eagles are really, really good against tight ends. Kelce may not have the 10-catch, 120-yard game that we were used to him having in the playoffs of the Super Bowl, but in those short 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 on the goal line in the red zone, can he find the hole in the defense, sit down, get the first down, get the touchdown, move the chains? That's what he's going to be asked to do. If he can do that 5-6 times and he has 5 catches for 50-something yards, hugely impactful if that is what he's doing. And he seems to be so good at it. You know the play, 3rd and 3, Mahomes is scrambling around. Mahomes does something, dumps it, and Kelce's just totally by himself, and everyone's like, what the hell just happened? How do you lose Travis Kelce? He's just that good at finding the soft spot in the zone. So I think that's where his quote-unquote impact will be, much more of that than, he's just taking over and they can't stop him and he's got that 10, 11, 12 catch game. It'll be more in those really pivotal moments, how good he can be.
putting Travis Kelce 6 on this list.
Seems low.
Don't you think it seems low? Wait till you hear my top
so.
5, though.
Okay.
I think I got your.
The top 5 is Mahomes. It's got to be Mahomes, Barkley, Jones, Carter, and Jalen Hurts. That'll be his top 5.
Here we go. And we start with a Jalen. And I understand it's a quarterback-driven league. So you got to put the other quarterback on the ground. And I'm putting Jalen Carter here.
I like it.
And the reason why I'm putting Jalen Carter here is
because he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and he can absolutely wreck a game. He's like how we talked about Zack Baun. It's like, well, I'm not really sure how impactful he can truly be. Jalen Carter at his highest level is like Aaron Donald, where when Aaron Donald is as impactful as he can be, he is wrecking the game. He is changing the game. Jalen Carter is that good.
because he has been so special affecting the game from the middle of the defensive line. He said goodnight to the Rams in the same way Aaron Donald once upon a time said goodnight to the Cincinnati Bengals.
On a different level.
He said goodnight to the Rams. He absolutely can ruin Super Bowl 59 in a way that nobody else, not even Fletcher Cox, was able to against the Kansas City Chiefs the last time. He's number 5 on my power rankings list of top 10 players in the big game. Number 4, out of respect, I had to put Chris Jones above Jalen.
Okay.
Chris Jones, exact same situation where Chris Jones is probably should be higher on the list because the Eagles are going to ask more of their running game. Like the Chiefs are not going to rely on Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco anywhere near how the Eagles are going to rely on Saquon Barkley. So Chris Jones and that defensive front and the defense as a whole, hence their impact on the game is being asked to be much more because they have to stop this Eagles offense. So yeah, Chris Jones probably should be higher than Jalen Carter on the list.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's insane.
Absolutely.
He's
Out
so
of respect
good,
for
man.
having done it in this game just last year.
Every big game he's ever played in.
Yeah, every
He
game.
has thrown Deion Dawkins in Josh Allen's lap.
Yes.
He has thrown various 49ers in the lap of Brock Purdy, including the one in overtime last year that forced a field goal for the Niners, led to the game-winning touchdown drive for the Chiefs. Chris Jones, out of respect, having done it before, is number 4 on this list. And now I'm putting Jalen Hurts here at 3 because
Hurts is another, he's the quarterback of the team in the Super Bowl. So he absolutely is impactful, but Hurts can kind of just manage this game. Hurts can just kind of tush-push here, dump the ball to Dallas Goedert here, hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley there, make a play here, a couple play, but he's not going to be asked to go win this game. He's not going to be asked, hey, we need you. Now, in the first game, he did have over 300 yards, and he had an incredible game, one of the best games he's ever played. But I think in this iteration of the Eagles' offense, it's going to be much more of him facilitating and much more of him truly running the offense. So now, if he has to, again, it's a Super Bowl. So if he's asked to, hey man, you're down 4, a minute and a half left, you got to march down 2-minute drive here to win the game. That changes things, and I guess you do have to pay some respect to the quarterback. But the Eagles have done a good job of taking a lot off of Hurts' plate. And now, if the Chiefs can neutralize Saquon, maybe it does become more, okay, well then can Jalen Hurts go win this game? Can he do it? We'll see. But, I mean, he should certainly be on the list. But
because he is the Eagles quarterback. In many ways, you could say Carter may be the most impactful Jalen by the end of the day on Super Sunday. But for the Eagles to win, the concept is take Saquon out, let Jalen Hurts have to do it, just like he's done it, by the way, against the Eagles twice before. In the regular season last year, in the Super Bowl, where he had a candidacy for the most valuable player of the Super Bowl in a losing effort. Jalen.
Don't forget, that year, he's the MVP. Like, that year, he would have been the MVP, gets banged up at the end there. And then in the Super Bowl, has an absolutely Herculean effort, except for one fumble. So we've seen him be able to rise to that occasion. Question is, will the Eagles need him to?
Jalen Hurts is number 3 on my power rankings. Now, it just comes down to 2. Yep.
Yeah.
Is it the guy who is the greatest 20s quarterback in the history of quarterbacks in the age of 20 of the National Football League?
I think it has to be Barkley 2, Mahomes 1, and that's maybe too chalky. But the Chiefs have nothing. Like, you take Patrick Mahomes off this team, you take Patrick Mahomes away from this game, the Chiefs really don't have a chance. And Saquon might get neutralized, and the Eagles still could have a chance with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and their defense or whatever. The Chiefs have to have Patrick Mahomes win them this game, bottom line. Whether it's through the air or whether it's him running around or whether it's him extending plays or whether it's whatever. But Patrick, he has to go win this game. And this team is nothing without him. Whereas the Eagles, Saquon Barkley is the man. Saquon Barkley is having an absolutely insane year and some insane performances, but they have other pieces that they can lean on if he does get stopped. If they stop Patrick Mahomes, if you told me Patrick Mahomes has a bad game, okay, Eagles win. If you tell me Saquon has a bad game, I'm like, yeah, Chiefs probably win, but I could see the Eagles winning in a different route. I cannot see the Chiefs winning in a different route if Mahomes plays poorly.
Or is it Saquon Barkley? Number 2 on this list is Patrick Mahomes. I'm putting Patrick Mahomes on this list because it doesn't, I mean, I guess the only thing that matters is if you could put number 15 on his ass.
Yeah.
In the Superdome. In the way that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, but that's why it should be 1. That's what matters. That's how you win. You win by stopping Patrick Mahomes, getting to him, isolating him. That he is that important. I mean, he is Tom Brady with the Patriots, where it's like you take Tom Brady away, what you got now? You have Deion Branch and Wes Welker. Like, same thing with this. You take Patrick Mahomes away, you got Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy. You're not as worried. This team probably isn't a one-loss team if it's not for this guy right here.
Buccaneers did in Tampa. If the Chiefs' offensive line comes up with a 0 sacks t-shirt again like they did the last time they beat the Eagles, I think this is the day for Mahomes. And even if Mahomes is down by double digits like he was in the last Super Bowl,
doesn't matter.
He wins it.
Yeah.
2 of his Super Bowl wins, he's been trailing by double digits, including the one 2 years ago against the Eagles at halftime. And so, yes, he is particularly impactful. But it's a Saquon Barkley world. And if the Eagles win Super Bowl 59, it's not going to be with this guy, I don't think, getting 50-something yards rushing.
See, this is where I push back. If you told me Saquon has 75 yards, I would still believe that there's a route to win. If the Eagles are believing that the only way they win is Saquon getting 120 yards, 130 yards, running the ball 26, 28 times, I don't know about that. that obviously they could win that way. If Saquon is allowed to go nuts, then yeah, they could certainly win that way. But I think there is a path if he is held in check.
He's got to be Saquon. He's got to be impactful. He's got to hit for home runs. He's got to hit for short yardage. He's got to catch passes out of the backfield. He's got to create matchup problems. He's got to block blitzers on third down that are coming from absolutely nowhere, because that's what Steve Spagnuolo does. He's got to be fully impactful in every phase of the game, and I think he can. Catch the Rich Eisen show.
All right, there you go. Top 10 players in the Super Bowl. What do you think? You agree? You disagree? I'm surprised Dallas Goedert wasn't on there. I think Dallas Goedert might be more important than Xavier Worthy because of the pressure that Spags is going to bring, because of what they are going to do, where Jalen Hurts is going to have to find an outlet. And I think that outlet is Dallas Goedert, who was his outlet last week. So, or in the NFC Championship game. All right, let me know who your top 10 is. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.